At one point or another, we've all dreamt about what life could be like if we could spend our time doing whatever we want, whenever we want. Maybe it's vacationing to all sorts of exotic places. Maybe it's lying around on the beach all day reading. Perhaps we'll finally pick up that hobby we've always admired. For many of us, that sort of freedom happens when we achieve financial independence and retire.
And that's exactly what we did. I'm Jean, that's my husband Vitaly. We're in our late 30s and in July 2021 we retired to Bali, Indonesia. We get a lot of people questioning our early retirement with comments like, "You're too young to retire, isn't it boring?" But the truth of our life in Bali could not be further from what people think our retirement lives are like. So today I thought I'll show you the raw and real deal with us here in Bali by taking you through a typical week in our lives here. I want to give you an understanding of the alternative lifestyle we've designed for ourselves at a relatively young age, so you can consider how you are designing and planning your own life, your own retirement, the options you truly have at your disposal, and what really might be the best fit for you.
Hello, good morning. Most days here in Bali start slow and easy. We wake up early, have morning tea, quiet time, maybe a little meditation or journaling, and we check the surf conditions.
Actually, to maximize each day's potential, usually the night before I would have already planned out the to-do list and the structure for today's activities. And now, looking at the surf forecast, tide is too high for surfing in the morning, so that I'll just have to wait till later today. In the meantime, this is a great moment to head over to our pasar to pick up some fresh supplies. So let's go.
The meat and chicken ladies close shop by 10:30 a.m., so it's best to hustle over there early.
Part of our freedom retirement life here in Bali is also eating well and staying healthy. And after more than a year of living here, we've actually settled into the pattern of trying to have at least one home-cooked meal a day.
We absolutely love eating out and eating local here in Bali, especially street food like this.
What did you buy?
I buy melon, fried bananas or red beans.
Obviously, it can also be really calorific and high cholesterol. Home cooking gives us the freedom to go more plant-based, or alternatively, for Vitaly to enjoy creating his barbecue delights. Very conflicting, I know, but really, food is one of the main joys of life, no?
So we've got fruits and vegetables and meat for us and bones for the doggy. So now it's time to go back off home. But first, we make another stop. Yeah, so the pastries here are really good. So we come here quite often to pick up something quick for breakfast. So we don't actually work any kind of salaried employment or do any business here in Bali. Instead, our living costs here are covered by a modest amount of monthly passive income, hence our categorization as technically retired. If you're interested in the financial side of things to our life here, we actually made 2 videos about it. So one's about our monthly living costs here, and the other one is about how we actually reached retirement. I'll link them down in the description below if you want to check them out. Anyway, so the beauty of our setup here is that our time is actually free from the constraints of having to make money for survival, and we get to choose what to be busy with. And it's completely not about lazing around every day, doing nothing. That gets old really fast. It's an amazing feeling to, keep busy and be productive every day with stuff that you actually truly believe in. And one of these things for us is the weekly YouTube upload commitment. So Vitaly and I started this channel like over 2 years ago. And for the longest time now, it's been 1 video every week, every Saturday. And sometimes it's about what we do here in Bali, like a little life update. And sometimes it's about some thoughts that I would like to share with you guys.
We're starting work on a brand new video this week. So right now it's going to be script writing for me for the next 2 to 3 hours. I usually work way in advance, so I already have my idea all set out. I just have to articulate my thoughts around it and think about how to execute the shoot. Whilst I'm doing this, Vitaly is often on his guitar or busy with his other responsibilities. He's often managing our rental properties and solving small issues that crop up with the tenants here and there remotely from Bali. He also spends a lot of time learning new technical stuff on YouTube and Skillshare because that's his areas of interest: photography, videography, etc. Right now, with the tide dropping, it's just about the right time for us to start heading over to the surf, so it's time to pick up. Bali is our dream paradise, particularly because Vitaly and I both love surfing, and it's a luxury to live in a place with quality waves like Bali has, and we try to get as much of it as possible. If not every day, then every other day at least. Okay, super nice. There are some waves available. We're going to suit up and head in. Surfing is kind of our daily sport, but it's also actually something we really love. So to us, surfing is not just about exercise, it's kind of like an art, and both Vitaly and I want to progress in it. It does take up a considerable amount of time though, between traveling to the spot, checking for good conditions, surfing, getting a coconut to rehydrate, driving back, showering off. It's at least 3+ hours of each day. Oh, that was good fun. Alright now, so it's already pretty late in the day. So I think tonight's just going to be dinner at home. Are you going to do a barbecue?
Yeah, maybe.
And yeah, some quality time with Vitaly and the dog. So see ya! Alright now, so it's a couple of days later. I've written a halfway decent script after a few rewrites that I'm actually happy to go shoot with. So today it's lights, camera and action! This usually takes a couple of hours or so, depending on the type of video, and I need to look tidy, so usually shoot days are never surf days. Instead, we usually couple it with errands that we have to run. There's always stuff each week that requires us to venture a bit further out of our quiet village life into more civilization. Right, so now we are at the Bali Art Supply store. It's actually a great little place for arts and crafts hobbies. You know, if you need supplies, they have got a lot of things, especially for watercolors, acrylics, all sorts of painting really. They've got a lot of really great stuff here, but they actually also sell this stuff off Tokopedia. Right, okay, so now we're done here and it's off to the next stop. This is one of Bali's home renovation mega stores. Our bathroom tiles need replacing, so we checked out some options. On the way home, this is one of our favorite stops for lunch. Yeah, so I'm not having rice today, but this is what I've got.
I love nasi campur and stok makan.
Nasi campur is like the best deal here ever of living here in Bali or in Indonesia in general. I mean, it's cheap, it's always tasty, and you know, you get to choose what you want to have. It's like really easy to go vegetarian or like just cut out the meat, and yeah, super awesome. After, if I'm feeling energetic and in the flow, I'll set up the easel and go arting for a little bit. Good morning! So now the shoot's all done, and for this next few days, it's just going to be production time! Woohoo! Editing, color grading, adding music usually takes about 3 to 4 hours each day until the video is done. So we love living close to Bali's nature. It's one of the biggest privileges of being here in Bali. So we keep the house as open as we can most of the time. But that also means it gets really dusty, plus doggy runs in and out as she pleases. So we do have to clean every day. There's a lot of upkeep required for the house and the garden. So living like this also means we can take rest whenever we need.
And usually this is just taking a day out of our normal swing of things where we can just unplug and stop going.
Sam Dogan, also known as the financial samurai, turned living like this fake retirement. He himself stopped working full-time since 2012, but after a year of the traditional doing nothing retirement, he got bored and he went back to keeping busy with his family, his finance website, writing books, and managing his investments, including investments into art through platforms like today's video sponsor Masterworks. If you too are retired or planning for that, investments invariably form part of the picture. In the US, most Americans now believe they need $1.25 million to retire comfortably, a good 20% up from last year. Traditional investing has been far from enough, with the stock bond portfolio that millions rely on down 34% this year. If you're worried, know that historically in times like these, professional investors seek out real assets because they can still deliver gains and help fight inflation. Not just oil, gold, or real estate, but also fine art. While stocks and bonds are going down, the average artwork is selling at auction for 26% more than this time last year. Outside of 2022, investing in art has outpaced the S&P 500 over the last 26 years by 131%. Obviously, for most of us, investing in art has always been a tad out of reach. I certainly can't spend $3 million on a painting, but luckily, there's Masterworks. Masterworks allows us to invest in multi-million-dollar artwork, high-class paintings from legendary artists like Picasso and Banksy for a fraction of the cost. In 7 out of 8 sales, Masterworks has delivered over 17% net returns to their investors. Over 550,000 people have signed for Masterworks, and as the economy tumbles, there's a growing wait list. But my subscribers can get priority access using the link in the description below. People have pushed back, saying that living like this isn't truly retired since we're still doing some sort of work and getting money in return. I disagree. I think the point of our retirement is not that we can sit around and do nothing all day long, but that we have the freedom to choose what to busy ourselves with. And if some of those pursuits happen to bring in extra money, it's not a necessity, but it is a nice bonus.
The point of our little Bali life is we chose an alternative lifestyle design. We chose to content ourselves with a simpler, more economical life here, one that may even seem perhaps a little poor or lame to some people. But it allows us the freedom to pursue what we believe in, to learn new things, and to live each day slowly with gratitude and spend time with the people we love every day. Because these are the things I won't want to miss out on or defer till much later in life. Because having all the free time in the world would be pointless without all these.
I've always wondered if the traditional retirement that society peddles to us is a bit of a mirage. An endless and aimless vacay gets old pretty quickly for many people, in truth. Yet, that is the very same picture of traditional retirement that's painted for most of us to hold in our mind's eye whilst we trudge through years of toil and endure unfulfilling work to reach that promised land. And sadly, the reality of traditional retirement pans out differently for many people. These same people who spent most of their lives working so dutifully and who have been conditioned to live their life around work as their dominant priority, they never took time off to develop themselves or develop other interests outside of work. Work was all they knew. Work had become their identity, their purpose in life, and their social network. And in retirement, these very same people often seem to become lost, lonely, blue. Some even find their way back into a retirement job. Personally, I thought the whole thing looked a little bit like a suboptimal trade-off and a lousy lifestyle design. After all, you can never get that lost time in your life back, can you?
I'm just so grateful that Vitaly and I achieved this together earlier rather than later in our lives, and that our fake retirement in Bali is as productive and meaningful as it is to us. I will forever want to be spending our lives this way, This is a life I will never want to retire from in the traditional sense of the word. I've learned that it is a misconception to drive towards unlimited freedom with our time. It's really what we do with our free time that counts. If you're still striving out there, you may wish to consider redesigning your own life to optimize it to serve you better in the long run. I believe that by making more conscious choices about how we want to use the time in our life and how we truly want to live, we don't need to wait until retirement to live closer to our true selves. We are all definitely different people with different perspectives and priorities though, so I know my choice may not always be the same as what you will choose. But I'll be very interested to know what you think of our design for life and your ideal plans for your retirement. So let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear it. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I guess I will see you next Saturday. Bye bye.